In this video, I will explain what a swordsman is, why Shanks is a swordsman, and debunk some arguments. A swordsman is anyone who wields a sword, regardless of skill level. It's a broad term that applies to beginners, practitioners, and masters alike. Even in One Piece, when Chopper saw Aum for the first time with a sword, he immediately referred to him as a swordsman. This proves that a swordsman is someone who uses a sword as their primary weapon, and since Shanks is always seen with a sword, he fits this description. All the weapons of these weapon users have been described as beloved weapons, and Shanks' sword is no exception. Shanks engaged in sword duels with Mihawk the strongest, or soon to be the strongest, so he is an expert in this field. Branu compared Mihawk's sword techniques to those of Shanks. Why compare the techniques of the world's strongest swordsman to someone who isn't also a swordsman? It wouldn't make any sense. Mihawk's Vivre card explicitly states that Shanks is a master of swordsmanship. Now, we can move on to debunking the arguments of those who claim that Shanks is not a swordsman. Shanks isn't a swordsman because he was never explicitly referred to as one in the manga. By that reasoning, neither Vista nor S-Hawk have ever been directly called swordsmen in the manga either, yet everyone agrees that they are swordsmen. Vista has only been explicitly referred to as a swordsman in external sources, and the same applies to Shanks. Shanks doesn't cut, he uses shockwebs, so he can't be considered as swordsman. Shockwebs are not a type of technique exclusive to non-swordsmen, even Zoro has used them before. Shanks uses Conqueror's Haki with this technique, and Zoro doesn't, so it's not the same. Divine Departure is simply a sword technique enhanced with Haki. If Zoro were to reuse Rhino Revolve with Haki, it would still be the same technique, just enhanced. For instance, Shanks' fighting style is based on his Haki, not his sword. Haki is simply a power with an amplification function. Divine Departure has never been explicitly described as a sword skill. A sword technique is simply a technique performed with a sword. In Shanks' Vivre card, Divine Departure is described as a single flash, the same term used for Mihawk's move. The fact that Shanks uses a sword doesn't mean he can't also use his legs or other techniques. Using something other than a sword doesn't disqualify someone from being a swordsman. For example, Kabaji, who uses his feet, spinning tops, and fire, is still considered as a swordsman. What defines a swordsman is that their sword serves as their primary weapon and the frequency with which it is used. Thanks for watching. And Shanks fans, your turn to speak now.